Hi there! Welcome to the Careers in Psychology workshop. Here are the objectives. First, I'll be talking about what is psychology. Then, who are psychologists, like what they study and where, and the degrees in psychology, the various topics in the field and subfields, such as clinical, counseling, forensics, health, and industrial organization, and lastly, getting ready to work in psychology. First, what is psychology? So according to the American Psychological Association, or APA, psychology is a science concerned with behavior in both human and non-human animals. It is a broad discipline from biology to sociology. So in other words, it's a scientific study of human mind and behavior. Which is why psychologists study two converging relationships, one between brain function and behavior and the other between environment and behavior. With that, they conduct both basic and applied research, serve as consultants, diagnose and treat people, and even test intelligence and personality. Many psychologists work independently and also team up with other professionals, like other scientists, physicians, lawyers, school personnel, and managers. We find them in laboratories, hospitals, courtrooms, schools and universities, community health centers, and prisons. With an undergrad degree, it's an excellent preparation for continued graduate work in psychology or in another field like business or medicine. With an advanced degree, you can move toward preventing illness rather than diagnosing and treating it and lead to more research. Here are various topics in the field that psychologists study. For example, there's addiction, in which psychologists look at how a drug affects someone's body and eventually change their behaviors. There's also the study of personality, which focuses on understanding individual differences and how various parts of a person come together as a whole. Here are the subfields in psychology. Psychologists specialize in different areas within the field and identify themselves by many different labels. There are psychologists who work solely as researchers, others who work only as practitioners, and many who do both. There are also others who teach psychology in academic institutions. In the next few slides, I'll be talking about 5 different subfields in psychology. One subfield in psychology is clinical. These psychologists assess and treat mental, emotional, and behavioral disorders. They consult with physicians on physical problems with psychological causes. Some treat specific problems, such as phobias or depression, and there are others who focus on specific populations, like the youths, families or couples, ethnic minority groups, and the elderly. Another subfield is counseling. They help people recognize their strengths and resources to cope with everyday problems. They do counseling or psychotherapy, teaching, and scientific research with all ages, families, and organizations such as schools, hospitals, and businesses. Here, forensic psychologists are important individuals within the judicial system. They apply psychological principles to legal issues, like when they help a judge decide which parent should have custody of a child, or evaluate a defendant's mental competence to stand trial. They also conduct research on juror behavior or eyewitness testimony, and some are trained in both psychology and the law. For health psychologists, they study how patients handle illness, why some people don't adhere to medical advice, and develop ways to control pain or change poor health habits. They also team up with other healthcare professionals and educate them on psychological problems. Now for IO psychologists, they apply psychological principles and research methods to the workplace to improve productivity, health, and the quality of work life. They serve as human resources specialists by helping organizations with staffing and training, and others as management consultants who work with strategic planning, quality management, and how to cope with organizational change. In the last few slides, you'll see the requirements and available work in getting a degree in psychology. So first, with a bachelor's degree, it includes a blend of science and liberal arts courses. You need courses like introductory psychology, research methods, statistics, learning, personality, social, and developmental psychology. In your last 2 years of college, you need to make wise choices for future courses and extracurricular activities. When you get your bachelor's degree, you can find work related to your college major, like being an assistant in rehabilitation centers. There are some who teach psychology in high schools if they meet state certification requirements. And you can also find work in administrative support, public affairs, education, business, health, and biological sciences. When attending graduate schools, they require test scores like the GRE, GPA, course selection, recommendations, and practical experience. If you choose the master's route, requirements are fewer with background in general psychology, experimental psychology, lab, and statistics. There are programs available in clinical, counseling, and IO psychology. After you get your master's, you can find work in consulting, marketing research, government, universities, and private sectors. Also, even work under a doctoral psychologist, especially in clinical, counseling, and school psychology. If you want to learn more about psychology, go to the APA website where you'll find more information on the other subfields in psychology that were not mentioned in this workshop. There is also a section on Psych Careers, which is APA's online career center where you'll find job listings and tips on professional development and interviews. Thanks for your time.